Welcome back to another episode of Susan Lopresti Wellness, Mind, Body, and Soul, the podcast where we explore the highs, the lows, and everything in between when it comes to a woman's life, her health, and all aspects of navigating the midlife landscape. I'm your host, Susan Lopresti, and today I am coming on really off the cuff. I have a very valuable message to bring to everyone, not just women on this topic, so men included. So I'm going to start by telling you that on Saturday, the old neighborhood that I grew up in Brooklyn, New York, if you can't tell from my Brooklyn accent, anyway, there was a reunion in one of the parks in Brooklyn where we all hung out as kids. And I'm talking about 40 plus years ago was the last time I saw some of these people. Some I still am connected to. Actually, my life partner, him and I went to first grade together. So I know him my whole entire life as well. But we lost touch with a lot of people, and they had this reunion that was scheduled from 9 months ago. And it was a wonderful event, and the whole day was spectacular. The weather was perfect. Everything was perfect. It was over at 7 o'clock in the evening. About 6:30 or so, my boyfriend and I and a whole bunch of our friends, we decided to go have dinner. So we left the park at 6:30. And while we were having dinner, someone from the reunion came into the restaurant, and he told us that one of the guys, and I don't know him personally, but of course you know of people, right? Because I don't know him personally, but I know people that know him. And it's like that with a lot of people that were in the park. I've heard of their names, I've seen them around the neighborhood, but didn't personally know them. He fell into that category, but I certainly knew his name. And he was up on the dance floor, even though like there wasn't a real dance floor, but there was an area where everyone was dancing. And he was doing the hustle back from the 70s. And what a dancer he is. It was fabulous to even watch him. Anyway, we're in this restaurant now and we're having a dinner, and one of the people from the reunion comes into the restaurant, and he tells us that that guy that's been dancing just had a massive heart attack and was taken away in an ambulance. And we come to later find out through the grapevine that he had two arteries that were 100% blocked. And honestly, we really don't know his prognosis at this point. Someone else said that he's critical, but maintaining. And so here's the point of this podcast episode today. A lot of times we could feel perfectly fine. Like apparently he felt perfectly fine. He didn't look like he was laboring when he was dancing. He didn't look like he was getting tired. There were no outward signs that something was going to happen with him. So my message is that as we're getting older, even though we may feel well, there may be something brewing, right, underneath that we're not aware of yet. So this is my message. Please make sure that you're getting checked out by your doctors. Make those doctor's appointments annually. So if you're a woman and you haven't been for a mammogram or a thermography, anything to check your breast health, you need to get to that. You need to get a bone density test. You need to know how your bones are doing. Do you have osteopenia? Do you have osteoporosis? And what can we do to improve that? If you go to a cardiologist and you have a stress test and they could see that you have some blocked arteries or potentially something's going on, you can catch it early on. These are deadly diseases: diabetes, heart disease, stroke. You don't know until it hits you. So you need to be following up with your doctors. You need to make those annual appointments and not put them off. It's when you put them off that something like this could happen. Now, I don't know. He could have been to the cardiologist last week for all I know. Like I said, I don't know him personally, but what I do know is that you can catch illnesses before they really progress if you're under doctor's care. And you have to be your own health advocate, right? We can reclaim our health, but we need to take it in our own hands. We need to be our own health advocate and do what's necessary to stay healthy. And one of those things is to schedule those annual exams. If you haven't been to a cardiologist in a couple of years, you need to go. If you haven't seen your primary care doctor in a few years, you need to go. If you have any kind of chronic illness, you need to stay up to date with those doctor's appointments. You cannot put them off. This is a matter of life or death in some cases. Now, like I said, this particular gentleman that was in the park dancing the other day on Saturday, he looked perfectly healthy because he was having the time of his life. But there was something going on internally that no one knew, especially him, obviously. He didn't know. And now he's fighting for his life in a hospital in New York City. So I'm asking for prayers for him. So if you can send any kind of healing energy, any kind of prayers, I'm sure they are greatly appreciated by him and his family and everyone who knows and loves him, because there's been an outpouring of love on social media for his recovery. So he's loved by many. And that's my message to you today. Please make sure that you stay up to date on all of your annual visits to all the doctors that are necessary for you to see. So get your blood work done. Go schedule those exams. Make sure that you're up to date and you're doing everything that you possibly can to stay healthy. Please don't fall into the trap that you feel great and you don't need to eat healthy or exercise or see your doctors. Please, you don't know what's going on inside of your body unless you're checked. Please, if you think that this episode would be a benefit to anyone that you know who maybe is not so conscientious with their health, please share it out with them and share it out with anyone and everyone who you think could benefit from a reminder such as this one. Thank you so much for listening today. Until the next time, be well, stay happy, and bye for now.